Welcome to the Real Estate Rundown. We are here with the shocking statistic of the day. A record 8.5% of United States homes are now worth $1 million or more. Over the past 4 years, the share has more than doubled. According to Redfin estimates, 8 million homes were worth over $1 million in June of 2024, up from 7.2 million in June of 2023, and from 3.4 million in June of 2019. Also, the share of homes worth at least $1 million is up year over year in 47 out of 50 of the most populated metros. Meanwhile, the luxury median priced home jumped by 9% year over year to an all-new high of 1.18 million in Q2 of 2024. Housing has never been more expensive.
So you got like 1 out of every 10 people or homes are worth $1 million almost?
That's what
based on that stat.
That's
roughly.
what 8 million homes are worth over $1 million.
So if you know 10 homeowners, one of them's got $1 million asset.
Yeah.
Is that one way to look at it, or what's the truth behind it?
It's pretty shocking. I know we talk about this a lot because we've all been in real estate for many moons.
More than I like to admit.
Yeah. For those that may be just tuning in, let's give a little background of how long we've been in real estate and kind of what we've done. I think that'd be a good little recap.
Oh, kick us off. I'm 06 when I first, well, actually, 2005 was the very first time I stepped into real estate as a marketing representative for First American Title. And that was during a boom. And I remember like when prices, first skyrocketed now, but back then you would laugh at what those prices are now.
In 2005.
Like, I remember like for me, like I feel like what $1 million is now.
There was only like $1 or $2 million homes back then.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. I feel like what $500,000 is now, like what it meant to me
Yes.
is what $1 million feels like now. Just a nice home.
Because it's true. I mean, that's...
So you were 05, you started as a title rep, and then you got your license in 06.
In 06, yeah.
Was that in Arizona?
I was a title rep in New Mexico.
Got it.
And then moved to Arizona. And I actually got involved in mortgage for a bit, but then in that time as well, it got licensed in Arizona in June of 2006.
Nice. And I know that, obviously I know your background. You were really heavily involved in short sales when the short sale market really heated up.
Yep.
And so you had only been in real estate for just a few short years when you got into that.
Oh, absolutely. I actually got started in ironically a luxury market, true luxury at the time, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. You actually got
were you in
custom
Scottsdale
home.
or
No,
what?
I was East Valley in the Superstition Mountains area.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So anyway, long story short, that was exactly what happened, right? The builders, that's how it all started for me. Was the builders? I worked for some small custom home builders, and they ran out of money before they ran out of month.
Oh shoot!
So that was like, what do we do? I don't know. And then we started figuring out what we connect the dots, and the rise of the whole short sale process thing that carried us through that shift for many moons.
And then this guy got his license.
Yep.
Yeah, I got into real estate in 2010 when there was no such thing as a traditional sale. So pretty much for the first 4 years of my real estate life was the short sale world. And that's the route that we traveled, short sales and REOs. That was really the only thing on the market.
Dominating
I didn't
forces.
even really go on listing appointments from a traditional fashion perspective or go on do traditional real estate really until 2014. And it was kind of funny because I was like, oh my gosh, this is way easier than processing a short sale and way faster.
And way faster. Get that.
I was
my
like,
check.
man, this is easy.
Yeah, short sales are no joke. And when you did
Process
volume,
oriented,
yeah, very process oriented. So not surprising that you are both fantastic at it. Jason, how about you? What's your real estate journey look like?
You could probably say it.
Kind of did it together.
Because
I don't know. What were we 2003?
yes.
Yeah. So we got
2003.
licensed in 2003.
On the same day.
Yeah. We were in Germany trying to figure out, I was getting out of the service and trying to figure out what we're going to do next. And we're like, all right, this Carlton Sheets guy is pretty cool. We should do some real estate. I guess we go get our real estate license. So Kayla went back home first. I still had a few months left to serve, and got her license. And then I came home Well, you bought a house too, right? Well, we bought a house.
We bought a house.
She bought it. I was in Germany. She bought it.
Gotta have somewhere to sleep when you come home.
Yeah, so we got home and got my license, and then that's when we, went to Century 21, started selling some houses.
Got the golden jacket.
Yeah. Got the
Oh my
golden jacket.
goodness, we loved Century 21. Let me tell you, we were like, we were all about it.
We
But
had the Centurion Award. We should bring on our Centurion
Didn't
Award.
you guys were Foothills, right?
yeah, we
Didn't
were.
I, ever,
Foothills.
I don't think I ever told you this. I interviewed at that place. I don't remember who it was, but it literally was like one of the top 5 places I considered.
Really?
Dead serious.
Oh, that's too funny. So yeah, I mean, a similar story with Jason. So we've been in this for decades, and I don't know if that's good or bad, right? But it is. And prices of homes absolutely have just skyrocketed. And I know we talk a lot about this internally and how kind of our sentiment is that a lot of this is just inflation, and it's inflation showing up in home prices. And like, it's kind of sad though, because I think people really think like, oh my gosh, I made all this appreciation, and you can spin it like that. And that's definitely like a sexier way of looking at it than
if you can,
Yeah,
if
everything
you
else
can
is
sell it
appreciated
and
with
go
it.
somewhere like Appalachia or something like that, and buy
a very inexpensive
in a
home.
very
Yeah.
inexpensive home
That's
and
true.
live. So, but you can't sell something and go move to another place around here and get a
No,
cheaper house.
You're not going to get the benefit of it.
I mean, you should go to like Florence, something like that, a little bit further out. But
Even
even then,
still,
it's
it's
Yeah, but then you're
expensive.
sacrificing the major quality of life. You're spending that time in the car, right?
yeah. Well, we
And
did.
you're near the prison. So
And
it's like
I
not
forgot
super
something.
fun.
Oh, I got to run to the grocery store. Be back in a half an hour, honey.
Yeah,
Right, or
longer.
longer.
Yeah.
We talked about that. I don't remember if it was last year or 2 years ago, talking about that people will probably start living further out and just get Teslas that self-drive.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true. The Tesla does do a great job now at self-driving. It's pretty incredible.
It is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Uh,
Except you have to continue to touch the wheel and look forward.
Yeah, you get
can't-
like certain amount of pressure.
Yeah, it's not there where you can just play on your phone and
Fall
work
asleep
work
on
or
the
whatever.
highway.
Yeah.
Well, the
It'll get
2020,
there.
2021 and newer, they watch your eyes.
Yeah.
The camera watches
Really?
you. Yeah.
Damn.
oh yeah,
So it's-
because yeah.
Because
to-
I have a 2020 and mine's based on like the pressure of the steering wheel. So I can't just put my hand on the steering wheel. I literally have to either squeeze it or like give it a little nudge.
Yeah, that's crap because like our Escalade, we have self-driving on the freeway, and I don't have to touch it at all. It just looks at my eyes. And so if I'm looking,
Yeah,
at
it's-
least I could just be looking out in the sky and stuff like that, and it's like staring at a cloud for like a couple minutes, and it's gonna still drive.
you're trying to find where your
But then
data
as soon
is
as I
stored.
turn my head and look this
Yeah,
way,
it's your.
it starts like buzzing at you and like bzz, 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 bzz. Okay.
It's gonna turn off.
Yeah, make sure your face is
funny.
pointed
Yeah.
towards the road.
Yeah, then if you do it like 2 or 3 times, then it like completely shuts off the system
Disengages.
and says you're grounded for the rest of the day.
That's what Tesla does, and Tesla
yeah.
only
I
gives you
know,
a
I didn't
certain
know that.
amount
Oh,
of them.
it's a big deal to
Yeah.
get grounded from Teslas. It's
Yeah.
much longer than the day. I think it's like 3 weeks, and then if that happens like 3 times, you have to go to the service center and have it like reset.
Which is so think about it though, like because you Turo some of your vehicles too,
Yeah.
so do we. So we Turo our Tesla, and like we were talking about it. If someone Turo the Tesla and then used the self driving and then got us locked out, that would suck.
Yeah, I would disengage it and like put a code on it.
Yeah, maybe.
Sorry, you can't use this feature.
I still can't figure out how to turn the fart off because Kyan turned the
Oh, wow.
fart on.
You don't know toy box.
It's in the toy box.
Yeah, you gotta go in the toy box.
But then it does kind of crack me up, so maybe I haven't investigated.
Oh yeah,
As much as I
my
could.
kids have done that many times. Submarine, or my favorite one is the sleigh bells. Oh boy,
The Christmas bells.
yeah, you change the channel or you change the lanes and ching ching ching. Like Christmas time, it's hilarious.
That's great. I love all the Easter eggs in
Yep.
there. But yeah, back to houses. They're getting more expensive.
No, your dollar is depreciating.
Your purchasing power is going down.
Yes, it's not. They're not getting more expensive. Your purchasing power is like decreasing.
Okay, this will be the second podcast in a row I've mentioned this, but it was a really good podcast. I listened to Tom Bilyeu and Ray Dalio. And Ray Dalio several times during that podcast said cash is trash. And if you're holding on to
painful.
cash, you're just like you're losing money like month over month. It is painful. Also breaking from Redfin. Redfin's just been like putting out the data lately.
They have it.
Yeah.
Stuff that's like
Yes.
even questionable. It's good
Smart.
data, but it's still
Yeah.
like questionable. Like this doesn't have that much to do with house, but
Y-
okay.
Yeah. Like they published something about how in Arizona, more people dropped out from Democratic
Yes, that's
registrations
right.
and switched to Republican, which I thought was really weird for Redfin to be publishing that data.
That is very strange.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I wonder why. Like what they get data
Because they
scientists,
understand
like,
media company first. That's why.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Let's chew on that for a minute. But I'll share what else Redfin broke. So the U.S. renter population is rising 3 times faster than the homeowner population. This kind of makes me sad. So the number of households renting a home increased by 1.9% year over year to a new record of 45.2 million, the second largest jump since 2021.
Which
So-
makes sense because I remember in 2021, I think we went to IMN around those times, and that was when rentals were still booming, and that's because remember rates were so low and everything was still affordable, right? So they were getting a lot of pressure on that because the rents couldn't catch up. Now it's swung back the other way, where housing is expensive, mortgage rates are expensive, and so people are like, heck with that, I'm going to go ahead and rent right now, right? I think that anytime that not only from a mortgage standpoint, but I think anytime that when we start looking at the affordability index, that it starts being more than 25% of whatever whether it's rent or mortgage, right? It feels like it tips the other way, right? So if I can buy a house and it's less than 25% of my income, you'll see housing tick up. If it's I'm going to rent a house and it's less than 25%, that makes sense.
Well, it's something interesting. Last week we talked about how the Biden administration proposal is to give homeowners $25,000 for first-time homeowners.
That's Kamala.
Sorry,
Kamala, sorry.
I knew it was something. Okay, sorry. So the Harris proposal is to
Which
give,
I guess she is still in the Biden administration.
She's still in the Biden
so
administration.
it's just
Absolutely
like,
she
I mean,
is.
why they do it right now then?
That's one of the issues,
they could,
right?
Yeah.
right? But so she's saying it's part of her platform as she's running for president is
Gotcha.
that if she is elected president, she will give first-time homebuyers $25,000 in the form of a grant to buy a home. And
So they're going
knowing
to print
that,
$25,000 for each person.
okay, yes. So they're going to come up with this money, and
That's what I'm saying. That's more fiat money.
but let's talk about what that does to the market. If you knew that if you were in the market to buy a house and you knew that this could potentially be a thing in a few
Yeah, we were
months,
just talking about this yesterday.
what would you do?
Well, it is a supply and demand
I would
issue,
wait.
right? Like,
You
yes.
would wait.
I wouldn't
Yes,
buy
Yes.
right now. I
And
would
so,
wait.
so is this proposal and this part of her campaign causing more of a slowdown?
slowdown in the real
Absolutely.
estate market.
You're gonna wait till this credit is there.
Yeah, why would you buy if you're gonna buy a new house, why would you wait, or why would you buy it now instead of wait until Kamala? Is it
Kamala.
Kamala? Sorry. Why? Yeah, I would wait. And so
I think a lot of people would wait.
I think we're gonna see the first time home buyers
Well,
sit on the sidelines for the next.
Which is actually really sad because
It
what's
is.
going to happen? Prices are going to go up. Interest rates are going to go down. Prices are going to
absolutely.
go up, and they're going to wish that they would have bought because they would have had the appreciation, which could just be inflation. But at least they would have had that money.
Well,
Yeah,
to
'cause-
me, it
because
just
prices
doesn't.
are just gonna go up $25,000.
Exactly. It doesn't solve the issue. In fact, it actually could cause the issue, like you said, to become worse. Because now you're going to flood more buyers into the market, right? That are going to get this free $25,000, and right, and just simple math, roughly $6 per 1,000, right? That it's going to affect their payment, that it can potentially change their affordability and their debt and all those equations. So they're potentially going to get more house. What you would think, right, is it's going to be spun. But what that could do is flood the market with more buyers, which of course everything is based on general economics of supply and demand.
Well, also monetary policy. And in a monetary policy environment where you're giving out $25,000 in the form of a grant, that means they're printing some money. So if they're printing some money, then liquidity is going to be flowing, which means that probably other investors are going to be in the market competing with those very first-time home buyers, driving prices up. And we could see, I mean, we looked at the historical trends. After elections, typically home prices go up. Typically, new home prices also go up. And so if that's the case, you throw in a program where you're going to give away a lot of money. I mean, it sounds appealing on the surface.
You know what I think it may happen though?
What's up?
New home buyers or brand new home buyers should get pre-approved and go buy a new build.
Yes.
And
It's a
it
good
takes
idea.
There
5
you
to
go.
6 months.
Great idea.
and by the time if she gets into
Office.
Yeah.
then
Then you get the best of
then
both worlds.
the best-
You
yeah,
lock in today's pricing.
Yep.
You take advantage of potentially a grant that might come next year.
Yeah, that's a great video for agents. If you're out there, talking about this, share this kind of information, because I think it's a great opportunity. If new builds are always it's a great opportunity. Obviously, they're a little bit more expensive because they're brand new, but you also have a house that
Has a warranty.
has a warranty. You have a new AC unit, you have a new roof, you have new walls, you have new appliances, and new everything. So you're paying a little bit extra, but yeah, you can you lock in today's price. And if they're printing $25,000 for every house, for every new homeowner, you better believe it that those prices are going to go up $25,000.
But I've done this personally 2 times that I can think of. That I had a bill. This was before like they kind of stopped it, but like it was like I did this once in New Mexico and I did it once here, where I had a house built, went through the whole process, picked the features, everything else, and it just skyrocketed. My build time I think took 9 months because of the backloads and everything else, and I sold the damn thing within like literally a month of closing on it.
We've done that. Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
It's like it was like free money, right? And both times memory serves me, they were decent paydays. So
we had one that was like
$300,000.
Yeah, it was like a lot.
Mine
a
wasn't
lot.
like that.
Yeah, we hit the
We
it
hit
was
the
like
jackpot.
2005. We bought one out in Surprise, and like we bought it for like 175, sold it for 485 or something like
Oh
that.
my
but
gosh.
like a month after we closed on it.
I think mine
Yeah.
were like mine was like
it was like
50K-ish, nothing
it was that time, because it took like 12 months to build, but we bought it like right at the perfect time, and just like
boom.
like what the heck is
Yeah,
going on?
let's get rid of this thing.
Yeah,
Well, and builders, right? That's another one too.
and I think
So
it was
that's-
like $1,500 that we had to come out of pocket.
The earnest.
Yeah,
That's
the earnest was
crazy.
$1,500.
Less,
That's
but-
crazy.
You did a VA loan or something?
No, it was
Oh.
just that's what it was like. It was a trend home, or this class. What was it?
It was trend at the time, but
It
they
was
sold.
their upper trend home or something like
Gotcha.
that. But
So you got the upper,
So it
so
was-
you caught that.
you didn't
swing
have to.
too.
Yeah, all you do is just put earnest money down to buy a house, and we just bought it. And
Gotcha.
So another thing
crazy.
too that when we're talking about these costs that I know we kind of unpacked a couple of podcasts ago, which shocked me, is almost 25% of the costs that are going on are basically the permit fees and the regulatory things that a lot of these builders are having to pay from these municipalities, states, etc. Now, again, I realize that we're talking about federal versus state with a lot of that, but like again, you want to address some of these issues.
You're talking about Trump's plan, because Trump's
Yes.
plan is to reduce the costs of
Yes.
the government that is causing all these extra fees, the permit fees, the regulations to do this, like the OSHA fees, all the stuff that builders have to pay to build a house. And if you can cut down on a lot of those regulations,
it's junk
you're
fees.
cut
I'm
down
not
on
saying that they
fees
don't
and
have a purpose, but some of
price.
it's junk.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's definitely
Just a profit center for
probably some pork in there.
yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like we want to really start looking at like, hey, like we're all in business for profit. I understand that, but then there's also a point where you just almost like it's a charge that almost enslaves, right?
Well,
And I know it's probably a bit of a conspiracy
It's
statement.
not necessarily
but-
enslaving. It's just a job. It's a government job, right? The government has to pay the government employees, and so they have these fees and regulations to charge people so they can pay the
to
job.
push paper, essentially to push paper.
Yeah.
But Elliot mentioned something about Redfin and how they're just slaying the news game. And you mentioned media company first, and they're doing such a good job of really, I mean, these two, I didn't even get these from Redfin. I got them from the Kobesi letter on Twitter, and very, very respected publication on Twitter. And so it's capturing the mind share of people, promoting their brand. I think it's brilliant. Like, I feel like that is exactly what us real estate professionals need to be doing, is playing the media game.
Absolutely.
100%. You want to control the narrative. You got to be a part of it.
Well,
Even if you're capturing somebody else's narrative and talking about it, they heard it from you. That's the context.
That's why Keeping Current Matters is so popular.
Oh,
Or BAM Media.
BAM.
Like, look at Byron Lazine. He
Oh,
does such
dude,
a great
they've
job. He
slayed it.
goes live every single day. Like, or Monday through Thursday. He goes live every single morning and like chops up real
Yeah.
estate news.
watching the rise of them over the last 2 years has been crazy.
Yeah. So what do you say to the people that are like, oh, well, I'm not like Byron, I'm not articulate, or I'm not well spoken, or I'm not funny like Eric of the Broke Agent.
Well,
like
this Kabisi letter, they're not on video. They're just sharing information.
mm-hmm.
So, but I don't know what they're agent. But
Yeah,
So maybe.
hearing you say that reminds me of, I'm going to say that, I mean, I know you guys know Dan Kennedy, but maybe not everybody else says. He's one of the greatest marketing minds out there. And there's something that he's always, that I absorbed from one of his books that he calls the 3 M's, marketing, message, and medium, right? So to Jay's point, hearing you say that is it's all about the marketing message on the particular medium. And so it doesn't always have to be the camera in your face. But again, if you're going to have graphs and intel and things that are there and important to your audience, it's your job to communicate value to them. And you got to remember, you're an independent contractor, right? 99% of us out there that are licensed are independent contractors, and it's our job to attract new people. And in order for us to do that, we have to put out valuable, unique stuff to our audience, or our business is going to die, right? Socrates, growth and decay. You ain't growing, you're dying.
I think that value can also be other things, right? Like, I think that value can be something that makes someone smile, or value can be something that inspires people, or value can be, a meaningful comment left on somebody else's post. So there are many ways to give value when you're out there, putting your message out into the world. And it's not a one size fits all, because I think that that's the biggest thing is I think people feel like it needs to look a certain way, and they feel like maybe they don't look a certain way, or they don't sound a certain way, or they don't have the right education, or they don't have the right credentials, or whatever it might be. They just tell themselves all of these bullshit stories that aren't true, that actually keep them from taking action. It's like that Tony Robbins saying, when you're in your head, you're dead. And so you just like mentally masturbate all of this stuff and don't actually do the thing, instead of just like going for it and saying like, it's going to be messy, I'm going to get better, and that's okay. But like actually making that stance, I'm a media company first, I think is really important.
No question. People, I think that, I mean, we've seen it, right? Again, with our time that we've been in the spaces we started the show with, so many times people or agents will find a reason to stay stuck and find reasons why they can't versus why they can, right? It's almost like those self-sabotaging programs that does run in, I think, a lot of us, but at the end of the day, it's tricking yourself by just taking action. I think that sometimes people look for that magic bullet, and it's just, the best of my knowledge, it doesn't exist.
So let's talk about some cemetery plots. You want to?
Oh, this is a good one.
This is a good one. All right.
Yes.
I don't even know where to start. You want to do it?
Yeah, I'll give us
it.
the context on it. So, the headline is, LA's most coveted real estate isn't in Beverly Hills, it's in the city cemeteries. And so essentially, I mean, it also is talking about like how brokers are involved in selling cemetery plots.
Yeah, you could have your license to sell a cemetery plot, right?
They're having like HOA-ish type fees. So the plot has to look a certain way because it's certain, piece of it. So like, this is also, so it's this main area is called, where is it? I think it was like Forest Lawns, various locations. So they have hundreds of thousands of dead bodies there, right? And like Walt Disney is there, Paul Walker's there, right? It's been referred to as the Disneyland of the dead, right? Like Sammy Davis Jr. is another name here I'm looking at. That's just, obviously very, very prominent figures that people are literally, plotting to be a part of. In where you're going to go to your final resting place.
What does a plot like this cost in LA? Or
the article doesn't say, but it doesn't go over. It does say that square foot by square foot, this is the most expensive real estate on the planet.
So like there's like you put like a pre-wait list. So like if I die, this is where I want to go.
Yeah, you buy a plot.
You buy a plot.
You can buy a plot. Yeah.
And the closer to Paul Walker you get, it's more expensive, right?
Or Sammy D.
Probably
one of the Rat Pack dudes.
Case, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess
that's crazy.
I mean, it is pretty, right? Like it's in the Hollywood Hills, and like that kind of, it's definitely pretty, but
I don't think I'd want to throw that out to the universe. Be like, I got my plot all planned and everything.
I mean, but think about it, right? I'm just going to guess on price. It wouldn't surprise me if they're like $1 million or $2 million. It's something people
I know.
maybe pay to this.
Let's dig in and find the price. I bet it's more.
Oh man,
Really?
that's wild.
No way.
No, you don't think $1 million?
$1 million for a plot to put your body in?
I know.
I don't know.
Why don't you just get what do you call it? Incinerated? Is it incinerated? No, cremated.
Cremated.
And then
Basically, you're getting
and
incinerated.
then have
though.
someone just spread the ashes out into the cemetery.
Same principle.
Spread my ashes next to Paul Walker.
Yeah, go ahead and sneak in at night. Get a little shovel. Get in there and
Dump a little on Sammy Juke.
Well,
Good to go,
someone dumped ashes on the new Disneyland Rise of the
man.
Resistance, and it spread all around, and it was
It was all dusty. It's like-
absolutely disgusting. Like,
On a ride?
don't breathe.
Yes.
It. Like
Oh,
people
wow.
are all
It's-
sneezing and coughing.
it's their brand new ride. It's a really cool ride. It like glides. It's a really cool ride, but yeah, it's nasty. Someone did that, and
Like why they were riding it? Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
yeah, crazy,
It's-
right?
Yeah, it's kind of like,
That is more than crazy.
I think it was like their mom, and they were
People do some
obsessed
weird stuff.
with. People do weird stuff.
people are odd.
I don't know. Like, there's cool things now that people can do with ashes. Like, you could be turned into a diamond. You could be turned into a tree. I mean, that'd be cool. I'd love to be a tree.
We're all
Yeah.
trees, really.
I know some people
Tear
that
down.
like they put they took the ashes. I think it was like silver or something that they had mixed and took the ashes and mixed it into silver and then made necklaces out of it.
Yeah,
neat.
there's some cool
That's cool.
stuff.
Yeah.
But that might be creepy. I don't know. I don't know.
So I guess what is this about? Like, what's this whole article about? It's just very
Well,
like,
it's just the fact that it's
saying
so
it's
yeah,
expensive.
it's crazy
Everyone wants to
expensive,
get
right?
there.
That it's not Beverly Hills, it's not the 90210 that's raking it in on $1 per square foot. It's these cemetery plots where, I mean, let's face it, your vessel is done and it's being laid to rest and you're paying a hella premium for it.
and then there's HOA fees too. Like you got to pay after you're dead.
And believe it or not, they have a list of families waiting for spots. So interesting times. Colby brought up something. He said that, basically it could even enhance the value of someone's estate by being, in the right placement
Oh.
in these cemeteries.
Because people get to go and visit their plot and see them, and then they buy more of their albums or movies.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I know. It is interesting.
Yeah, I got one other headline here that I think that's like super relevant, right? Because we're just after August 17th.
Let's go, Elliot.
And we all know, I would imagine most of our listeners know August 17th is the day that the NAR rule change took full effect, right? A lot of people, it was maybe a month or two ago, but no longer can you offer buyer compensation in the MLS, and you must have a buyer broker agreement in place with a buyer to go show them properties. Well, shockingly, Redfin's stock is now on the rise ever since these new rule changes have taken effect.
Wow.
So what do we think that means?
What is Redfin stock up right now?
Let me see if I can find that. Redfin shares,
but Redfin has
are
agents.
moving higher on Monday. Yes, exactly.
So they have
but it
agents.
also has a massive direct to consumer, right? They have over 100
says
million
it's up
visitors.
5%.
Yeah, thank you, Keith.
And it's up 19% in the past 30 days.
so dang, man, that's a 20% run. That's a solid run.
Nice.
Hmm.
Good job, Redfin.
It's still down year to date. Year to date down 7.35%. Okay, so
What would that mean? Like, why? I wonder why investors are looking at that, thinking that they're going to do better in this environment.
because they have the eyeballs
So they got the eyeballs,
and they can. So okay,
if-
Redfin's shtick was if you buy a house with one of our agents, we'll give you back a discount. They give
Yes.
you a rebate, right?
Yes.
That was their
Yes.
gig, right? So in this new
They
environment,
even had a calculator around it.
in this new environment, they don't have to.
well, but they're gonna have to their own agents are gonna have to negotiate with the buyer their own commission.
Gotcha. Yeah. So they're still in the same boat as any other agent, I would imagine.
Maybe a little bit different though, because like Zillow, you're going to go through a middleman, right? So Zillow's going to be the
Yes,
middleman. They're
gotcha.
going to pair you up with an agent. At least at Redfin, you're going to get connected with one of
The Redfin agent.
their agents.
Yeah. So that you're not having a middleman. You're not paying a middleman like Zillow to get a lead.
And maybe Redfin will do some sort of like, okay, we'll sell your house and we'll represent you for an extra %. Or maybe they'll throw in some sort of like combine and save.
Well, if that's the
maybe,
case, maybe Zillow's stock is down? Is Zillow stock down then?
No, I don't think Zillow stock is down. It's constantly been on the rise. Maybe, I mean, just throwing in another thought on this, right? There's no question that I think most people think the direct to the seller is going to play out well for homeowners, sellers, whatever else. So if it's a Redfin listing, because now they list a bunch of properties too, and they can basically have a Redfin exclusive, right? And you're not having to have a buyer agent compensation. Maybe that's an angle that they're thinking could bode well, and another reason why you would want to list with a Redfin versus another agent, right? Because now this agent's saying, hey, we're going to want to have concessions or some type of, maybe consideration so that you get the eyeballs that you want from other agents. Well, if it's listed on Redfin and it's a Redfin direct, maybe they're looking at that as a way to circumvent.
Yeah, I saw another funny thing that someone was doing. They had a key in the lockbox and a little keychain. Those little keychains that have the little piece of paper in the middle of the metal, and it said 3%.
Which is not allowed, by the way. That is a violation.
In the super box?
Yes, because the super is tied to MLS. That question specifically came up.
Yep. The CEO of ARMLS
don't do it.
Very
said that, huh?
deliberately said, do not put any pictures. Do not even put concessions in there thinking that you're going to be able to circumvent it that way, that the concessions are to go to the buyer. What the buyer decides to do with them after that point is up to them, but those concessions from the seller to the buyer are to the buyer.
Well, Michael Ketchmark, the attorney for the Now case that is changing the way real estate is done, he came out yesterday and said that he will be watching the industry. He is watching us
from his 45-foot yacht in Sicily.
And he said the DOJ is watching us and seeing how we react to the changes. And from what I've seen, I think that a lot of the things like the 3% on the keychain, I think those are jokes. I think people are just joking around with stuff like that. I don't think that's actually happening. From what I see, I think that we all have a true intent to play by the new rules. And I think that there's just a lot of ambiguity around the new rules. And I think that everybody's handling things differently. And so it makes it very difficult to really understand, like, am I doing the right thing? Am I not doing the right thing? And what I sense is there's a genuine desire, though, to do the right thing. We want to do right by consumers, and we want to do right by the law. So, and personally, like, hey, we are all a participant in NAR and their rules. We didn't create these rules. We just had to follow them.
Yeah, we have to abide by them.
So it's, I feel like us realtors are somewhat slighted in this whole equation.
Well, that's why those agents in, Minnesota? Michigan.
Yeah.
That are suing.
Yeah.
They came together and suing NAR because they don't feel like they did their job.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Well, thank you for tuning in. If you are getting value from this content, be sure to like, subscribe, leave us a comment, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified of our new episodes.